Welcome back to In Pursuit of Magic, where we explore the things that inspire us, connect us, and the magic we find along the way. I'm Matthew Medina, and today's very special guest is an incredibly talented actress, singer, and dancer, Sara Gallo. Sara is currently making her mark on Broadway in the hit musical comedy Titanique, where she serves as a background vocalist and understudy for Celine Dion. Previously appeared on Broadway on the first national tour of 1776. A proud graduate of the Boston Conservatory with BFA in musical theater and a dance emphasis, Sara has built an impressive regional resume that includes Mrs. Wormwood in Matilda and Gabrielle in Cinderella, Ally in Mamma Mia at the Mooney, and performances at Theater Under the Stars, North Shore Music Theater, and more. You may also recognize her from Hallmark's A Holiday Spectacular, where she appeared as Sophia alongside the Radio City Rockettes. Beyond the stage, Sarah is a passionate educator and coach with musical theater college auditions, helping the next generation of performers find their voices. She also recently balanced one of the most demanding chapters of her career, opening a Broadway show while becoming a new mom. Sara, thanks for joining the show.
Thank you for having me. We did our research. That was so exciting.
Well, it's amazing to think about too. And I mean, we're going to dive into all the things, but I'm just thinking of you opening on Titanique after becoming a mom. I mean, how long? It was weeks. How long was that?
Yeah, it was 9 weeks between giving birth and going into rehearsal. I actually auditioned 4 weeks postpartum. They asked me to come back in just to like sing some stuff. So yeah, we auditioned wearing a diaper, but we're here.
Well, I give it to you. My daughter is almost one in a couple of weeks, so I know like going through that the past year has been a journey. My wife went through a lot, so I can only imagine. It's
Yes.
You're a hero.
Thank you. It is not easy for sure.
Not at
For
all.
anybody. No.
And then it makes me wonder then, like, you must have been really inspired to become a performer, to chase after this dream, to go to school, to make these things happen in different fields too, and also
Mhm.
then give back with education. So what first inspired you to get into this field?
What first inspired me would definitely be my mom. My mom was a dancer, just recreationally. She did go to Point Park University for dance for a little bit, but I grew up literally watching her in the ballet studio, like in a pack and play outside, like watching her. So she kind of introduced the world of dance to me, and that really inspired me to get into musical theater and do all that. And I'm Italian, so like we're all dramatic and like we're a lot. So it kind of all coincided. But yeah, my mom was definitely my first inspiration for sure.
It's amazing how at that young age you can be inspired by something and it can just influence every step you take after, and I feel like you kept that passion and you went on to do so many incredible things. I mean, we talked a little bit, I mentioned 1776 and of course Titanique. What
Mhm.
has that journey felt like going between these different shows and education and then balancing also teaching and then becoming a mom? I mean, all of that at once and also just following your dream, which is never an easy thing because you have your highs, you have your lows, and in between.
Yeah, I mean, exactly that. Like, it feels amazing when you say it all at once, but there have definitely been some really high highs and really low lows in between those big successful moments. It's been a long road. I mean, I grew up my mom is such a huge influence and inspiration to me. She always reminds me that it's a marathon, not a sprint. And especially like when you get out of a BFA program, everyone's like, I gotta be on Broadway. I gotta do this. I gotta be successful. And I definitely felt that. But throughout my experience and each show and each drop after a show, I was like, this really is a marathon, not a sprint. Like you really have to like figure out how this is going to work for you and if you honestly want to do it because it's hard. There are moments where I'm like, do I want to keep continuing to do this and find the rejections and have all of these challenges to get my dreams and to accomplish them and time again I come back to it and I'm like, yeah, this is what we're meant to do and it's hard, but we got good people behind us and we're going to keep on keeping on.
And I feel like that can be really difficult when navigating those harder moments where either things aren't working out the way you thought they would be, or you're hearing no's or closed doors. And so, how do you manage to take those moments and not let it put your fire out? I mean, you mentioned the right people around you and
Mhm.
remembering who you are, what makes you passionate about things. So, what else do you think for you works?
What works for me? I mean, in the beginning, it was hard for sure as like a 20 something. I was like, didn't I book this regional production of Mamma Mia? Like, why not me? Why not me? What did I do wrong? And my husband is a general manager in theater. And when I met him, it very quickly became so apparent to me that this is a business and it has nothing to do with me. And people say that, like, it has nothing to do with your talent, it has nothing to, but this really is a corporate business. And I'm like, all I can do is be myself and the right things will come. And of course, that took time. Like, I was unwell as a 20 something, but now, like, in my 30s, I'm like, no, it really is. I just have to be myself and the right things will come to me, and kind of trusting in that as much as I can because, we have those days where we're like, I'll never work again. But yeah, yeah, just kind of trusting in my ability and right place, right time for sure.
Yeah, which isn't always easy to keep that mindset. I feel like I still go through it. I'm still learning that lesson. There's so many times where I'll get a no or no response to something, and I'll think, "Is it me? Like, am I not making something good enough? Like, what?" And it's like you said, there's so many layered, different business reasons for things, and
Yes.
you can't let it stop you. But again, you could feel that way one day and know it, and then the next day you're rethinking, like, "What am I doing?" And then you'll come back
Yes.
to it again.
So it's a constant, like, mental struggle too of, like, convincing yourself every day,
Yes.
I feel like, being like, "Okay, like, we'll feel that again. We'll feel that positivity again." And so much of my career has been, like, a last minute thing. Like, I booked Titanique, the off-Broadway, after I auditioned for it 2 years later. So I auditioned in 2022, and then I got a call 2 years later, and they were like, "Can you come right now?" And, like, most of my career has been that. So I find too that I'm like, I can't expect anything because it just kind of falls out of the sky sometimes, which I feel like applies to a lot of things in life, you know?
And unexpected twists and turns. I mean, sometimes I
Yes.
think amazing things happen that you never dreamed of, and you're like, "Okay, I'm capable of doing that." Like, "Okay, cool."
Yeah, yeah, we can do that, sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Which brings me into Titanique. I mean, I'm just thinking of everything it takes to be on Broadway, 8 shows a
Yeah,
week, and
yeah.
then you're doing it as a new mom also. So what do you think was the best forms of support you received between rehearsal and debuting?
Between rehearsal and debuting, I mean, from the get-go, the entire company and management team was so supportive of me, like, asking how they can help me, how I can support, like, I breastfed and nursed my daughter, I'm still doing it. So, I, like, had a lactation room, me and Eleanor Scott, the choreographer, we, like, shared a lactation room at the Lincoln Center. I'm in the lactation room right now at the St. James.
Awesome.
So, I would say it was really hard to juggle, but in a weird way too, it was kind of like the best situation. I feel like a lot of moms get kind of stuck in that I'm, like, trapped almost in this motherhood thing, and I got to step out of it, and I get to, like, take naps before my job, which, like, a lot of moms don't get to take a nap. Like, I've never appreciated a nap as much as I do now. So I feel like I was given so much support and so much grace. I bring her to rehearsals. Like, she's very welcomed in this space, which is not a thing, like, 10 years ago in this business. But yeah, weirdly, balancing the work has also been like a secret gift I didn't know I needed for sure.
And I can imagine just having that support system too as you're navigating both things is really helpful because
Totally.
it could also feel very lonely, and I'm saying that as a father, but I can only imagine as a mother, like, there's so many other layers there, and so it could be a lot.
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah, I mean, I went back 2 months postpartum, right? So I was still like, the hormones were crazy, I had really bad anxiety, I still have it some days, but, like, my husband is amazing and, like, his parents, my parents, we have amazing nanny that comes in and helps us during this time, and, yeah, the girls in my dressing room are amazing, like, every day I come in, I'm like, "Can I talk about my baby's poop?" And they're like, "Sure." So I have a lot of outlets to let it all out, which is pretty cool.
Which is I can also imagine is super helpful in musical theater in general. I mean, there's so many moving parts. You know, I always say, like, it takes an athlete to do this, and I can also imagine, like, you having experience being an understudy for different roles. You know, what is your technique for being ready, like, at a moment's notice?
Yeah, I mean, I've been an understudy, like, most of my career, I'd say. I'd say just know your stuff. Like, you really just have to know it from the get-go. You can never assume that, like, in previews I won't go on in previews, I've done it. Like, they'll never call out, they do, you know? So I think being as prepared as possible, even in, like, the most minute ways, like, is so important as an understudy. Like, you don't want people to I never want someone to worry about me. So that's kind of where I come from. I'm very, like, serious when I, like, debut as a understudy. I'm like, "I don't need help. I'll let you know when I do. Like, I'm fine. Don't hold my hand. I got it." Like, that's how I need to approach it. But yeah, it's just kind of being ready and doing your job, you know?
Yeah, and it's a lot. I feel like a lot rests on your shoulders, and you guys handle it so well. Like, you really
Yeah,
are just ready to step in and create that magic.
absolutely. I mean, I love it. I got to swing.
You swung yeah,
I
swung.
swung 1776 on Broadway and on the tour, and it was 5 different tracks. And at first, I was like, "I don't know if I'd like being a swing," and I love it. Like, it scratches an itch in my brain where I have to, like, be on my toes all the time, which is so fun because sometimes in a long running show, like, you get bored sometimes, right? And it was just such a I was so fulfilled as an artist to be like, halfway through the show, I'm gonna switch tracks? Sure, why not? It's very exciting. Not a lot of I would say not everybody's like that, but my brain really enjoys having multiple tracks going at once.
I can imagine that being a lot of fun too, though, because yeah, like you said, you get to explore, like, different character shoes and different tracks that you're following, so it keeps things
Totally.
fresh, which I think is also another part of Titanique in general with all the improv that happens, it's always fresh.
Yes, yeah. I mean, with Titanic especially though, I've had the swing moments where I'm like, "Who am I? What's happening?" Like, someone else says a line that I know that I could do in another track, and I'm like, "Is that me? I don't what do I do? What? Huh?" Like, so we definitely have those moments, but it's never boring in this building, for sure. Never.
You know, you also have trained in the Vaganova ballet method.
Vaganova,
Vagano
yes.
okay, and earned a
Yes,
BFA
yeah.
in musical theater with a dance
Yes.
emphasis. How does
Yeah.
that classical foundation show up in your work today?
Yeah, I mean, it's everything. I owe the Russians Nadia Pavlenko was one of my teachers growing up. I owe her everything. Like, not only, like, my ability, but my like, how I work, how I show up to work, how I perform, how I take care of myself, all came from that ballet foundation. It's like having the technique under everything I do to then just let it go on stage was something that they instilled into me. That was yes. What was the question again? I feel like I was, like, ready to go and talk about the
No, that's
Russians. I'm
great.
like, I
I've
love them
just
so much.
how that has experience, like, prepared you for Broadway.
Yeah, I mean, it was hard. It was Vaganova specifically is very much like, this is how you do it exactly detailed like this. And you get so drilled into the detail. So again, when you perform, it just shows up, right? So that's how I approach everything I do, even teaching. Like, I'm strict as a teacher. I'm not mean, but I'm strict, and I think that's so important when you're learning anything, learning a track, learning a new skill, learning literally anything in life. I think you have to be strict with yourself, so then there's no judgment or no second guessing your ability. You're like, "Yes, I have this." She actually my mentor, Nadia, she actually came and saw the show. She hasn't seen me perform since high
Awesome.
school, and she
Wow.
was it was I was unwell. It was just so cool because, I mean, I'm not a ballet dancer, like, I'm built like a soccer player, and she instilled in a very young age to me that, like, ballet is not for me, which is fine because I'm 5'8" and, like, broad, but she instilled that, like, you are a smart dancer, and I took smart dancer as, "Okay, I can make this work how I need it to work for myself," and it, like, pushed me in the right direction. So, yeah, ballet is life, ballet is everything. My students are like, "Stop talking about ballet." I'm like, "It's so important."
Well, it goes to show how, like, those foundations can really set the tone for you and put you on a
Absolutely.
track that you didn't expect, and I'm thinking, like you were saying, it's about the strictness, and I feel like within that, it's just the discipline. Like, the discipline you learn and being a performer and needing to for yourself and for others on the stage is super important. And I can only wonder
Absolutely.
then how does that compare to your work on screen? I mentioned you being Sophia in Hallmark's A Holiday Spectacular. So
Yeah.
how is that experience like for you who's so used to theater work?
I mean, it was wild. That, like, also fell out of the sky, like many things in my career. I got the audition and I was like, "LOL, I'm sure." It's like funny Italian girl who dances, and I was like, "Sure, why not?" And when it happened, it was crazy. I mean, we started with the Rockettes, which was kind of a blessing. Like, we had a week-long intensive, just the 3 principals, because we weren't Rockettes, with the head of Rockettes, and it was the craziest experience. I've never sweat more in my life because I was just so nervous. They're so detailed, and they just drill it into them very much like ballet, right? It's, like, so drilled in. So, starting with dance was actually super helpful, and then once we got to the scene work, I quickly realized, like, it's everything theater is, but lighter. Like, it's not as intense, it's not as this, it's just kind of taking all of your skills and, like, stepping back in a way, and it gave me a lot of freedom and ease within it, and I very quickly I mean, it was a very supportive group, a very Broadway heavy cast who had also done film and TV, like, Derek Klena was there, and Jenna Claire Mason was there, and, like, watching them do scene work was really helpful, but yeah, totally different world, but also, like, very fun and, like, there's an ease to it. I don't know if people would say that, but that's how it felt for me. I was like, "Oh, I can just, like, be myself," and it comes across really well on screen.
I would also think like a Hallmark holiday movie would have like a nice vibe, you know?
It was, like, the best first film and TV thing because it's so pure and but I had a great story. I mean, I had a dead twin sister. I was like I had a whole complex. I was like, "Let's go." It was so fun. All of the Hallmark, like, producers for that film have come and see the show, and I'm
Oh
like,
my
"This is
god.
not Hallmark," and they're like, "We love it." It's great. Yeah.
I love hearing stories like that, because it
Yeah.
just shows the support that you have
Mhm.
and the friends you meet along the way that you just it's great to show up for each other like that, and you have so many different experiences, and then I'm thinking back to your other roles in theater in Matilda and Cinderella and Mamma Mia, and I'm wondering, was there anyone that really you feel like prepared you even more for Titanique?
I mean, Mrs. Wormwood that you mentioned was, like, the penultimate for me. I feel like I had been in the ensemble and covering regionally up until that point, and my one of my mentors, Mara Greer, who's a choreographer director, was doing that show. I was like, "I think I could do this role," and very quickly, once I got it, I was like, "This is everything that I need and, like, my abilities in one character." So, like, she's funny, she's crazy, she dances, she sings really high. It just kind of gave me the confidence to be like, "I can do all of my skills at once." Because in a lot of shows, I'm like, "I'm just a dancer, I'm just a singer, I'm just, like, the funny girl in the back," you know? And this, for me, I was like, "Oh, this is preparing me to, like, step into, like, a leading player within a show." So it definitely gave me the confidence to, like, be myself and be dumb, because I feel like that's so important to, like, be dumb in theater because it's theater. It's not surgery, you know? It's, like, the most silly thing in the world, and, yeah, I think going into Titanique, I was like, "Oh, yeah, this is Mrs. Wormwood, but, like, 10 times fold," you know what I mean? Not as extreme and, like, big, but within the, like, openness that you have to have. So, yeah, Wormwood for sure. I don't know if I could play her anymore because my knees are dead, but it was amazing. I had a great time.
Well, it's true, like, with the role like that, you really have to embrace it completely. Like, you can't
Yeah,
think about it.
you can't think about it at all, and I did it in Utah. In a very Mormon-heavy area, which was I don't know if they loved Matilda, but it was really interesting to be like, "Okay, I know these people, like, might not love this message, and, like, I'm, like, the evil parent," you know? So I really had to, like, just go for it, and it was so fun. Oh my god, doing Loud outside in the desert for 7 months was the craziest thing I've ever done. Yeah.
Well, it also goes to show with each experience, I feel like you learn something new and are able to pass that along, which I'm sure follows through with you being a coach and a teacher. And I'm curious, when you're working with young performers, what is it you've learned in your career that you wish you had known earlier, but get to instill in people now?
I get to instill that this is a gift. I think a lot of students, I mean, I coach kids going into like college programs, auditioning for college programs, and high schoolers a lot. And I feel like they come in very serious, being like, I have to do this. I have to succeed. I have to go to this school. And I'm like, yeah, but this is also a gift. Like, this is the coolest thing to do. And you have to enjoy it. Like, yes, we have to work hard, we have to make a good production, we have to do our best. So, like, with that strictness also comes joy, and that's so important to me. I just directed in Brooklyn at a private school. I directed Big Love, which is, like, a super, like, weird play, and I feel like that was the first time that, like, I had a kid be like, "Oh, this is the craziest thing I've ever done," and I've had the most fun. Like, it was so hard and so stressful, but, like, the end product, like, there was just so much joy. So I really try to instill that into them, being like, "Work hard, do your best, but how cool that we get to do this all the time and, like, pursue this as a living." That's so important to me.
I feel like it's such an important message to hear too, because there's so many people with this dream that are looking up to people like you and wanting to feel like they can connect and on a human level where they feel seen and understood. And I feel like sharing stuff like that is super important. I mean, it's easy for people to see all the successes and the things that work out and just see people on stage, but to hear the real stories behind it and the ups and downs, the challenges, but also the just the appreciation. Like, I love what I'm doing, and this is a
Yeah.
gift. And I feel like that's where a lot of the magic comes from with the community you build on stage, the friendships you make, the experiences, which I know not every production is the same. There could be bad ones too. But when the good ones happen, they really stay with people. And I love hearing those stories.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I always think about like if this is the last show I ever do, like my life will continue and I will be happy in my life, but like how lucky am I to do this show and like to continue to do it? So every show I'm trying to just be very, very appreciative of what I have, you know.
Yeah, and I feel like Titanique also is the type of show where you're able to kind of be silly and keep things light in a way where you get to have a lot more fun as opposed to maybe a show that is very heavy and like leaves you like emotionally drained at the end of it, which is really nice.
Yes,
And I
yes.
can imagine there's just so many funny moments and fun for you. So are there any that like stick out that you're just like, this is forever gonna live in my memory?
Yes. I mean, there's so many. I was with the off-Broadway company for a year and a half, but one of my favorite ones that happened was probably one of my earlier Celine shows. She has, like, a wig reveal at the end, spoiler alert, and my wig I did awful wig prep that day, and I went to take off for the wig reveal, and everything got caught, and so I'm trying to rip off the wig, and everything is falling apart, everyone's screaming, I'm screaming, just, like, pandemonium, and I was crying laughing, I was like, "This is only in this show could everything go wrong and it be exactly right."
Yeah.
It was just so funny. There was another one that happened with Dee Roscioli when she was there, like, where her wig fell off, and, like, it's just so funny, and yeah, like, in Les Mis, like, that wouldn't fly, you know what I mean? But I'm like,
Yeah.
how cool that, like, this story, it works in this time. Yeah, I it's there's lots of funny, silly moments within this play for sure.
Yeah, and it's funny when they happen on stage at a point where you can tell that the cast is just loving every moment of it too, whether they're breaking or they were seeing something unexpected or they're getting each other in a joke. And
Yes.
just to experience that, it's just it makes it so much fun.
It's so fun, and we have a lot of super fans in the show who've seen the show a bunch, and so, like, when it happens when they're there, like, I love to clock I look in the audience too much, but I love to clock them because they're like, "What is that?" Like, it's so fun that everybody's in on it too, and we're allowed to, like, explore that. Again, if your wig falls off in Les Mis, like, run off stage, you know what I mean? Like,
I
it's
feel like that chaos too just evens out or balances with just the experience of musical theater in general. And then I'm thinking Christina was talking about the experience of performing at the Tonys and the chaos of that schedule. So what was like that day like for you?
that day was crazy. I came in like 4 a.m. from Jersey, and I'm still pumping, like, I'm still nursing, so I'm like throughout the whole day, they're like, "Run here, put your costume on, it's 6 a.m., and go over and do rehearsal," and I'm, like, trying to pump throughout the whole thing, and, like, Pink's flying in the air, and Neil Patrick Harris is walking right by us, like, there was so much going on, and then I would, like, catch a friend at another show, we'd be like, "Oh, this is crazy!" And, like, we got to hang out with cats backstage. It all hit me afterward. There's a video of me on the internet somewhere just bawling my eyes out because I had this moment of, like, I've watched the Tonys every year and cried my eyes out since I was, like, 8, being like, "I wanna do this," like, unwell, like, just bawling my eyes out. My mom was like, "Are you okay?" And my husband is like, "Are you okay?" And to actually do it, it was just it's surreal. Like, I look at the video and I'm like, "That was me? What?" Like, it was so crazy and so cool, but it went by so fast, you know what I mean? It felt like a fever dream.
Yeah, I mean, I was hearing that most people didn't get even to meet the people they wanted to because it was like on and off the bus. It was like move, 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 let's go.
Yes. Yes, and we're, like, trying to take videos in rehearsal, and I'm like, "Titanique's here," and all of a sudden Shoshana Bean popped in, and she was like, "Yeah, girl," and I was like, "What?" Just crazy, and, like, Pink was just, like, running around, and but it's so cool because I'm like, "We're all colleagues." I had that moment a few times during the day. I was like, we're all fam in the club," you know what I mean? Like, it was very cool being like, "Oh, this is such a small world and, like, how cool that we get to, like, live in that, you know?
I will say as a fan of the show and also because I've gotten to chat with so many people who are part of the show, seeing you guys perform was just it was just especially different for me because I was just, like, so proud, like, to see you guys up there and, like, so happy, and I was just, like, looking at everyone smiling in between stuff and seeing your reactions, and it was just great. So I can just imagine the feeling that when it was done to come away from it and be like, "That happened."
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we are the little engine that could, you know? So, like, it's so fun to have everyone who's seen the show and loves the show too being like, "We made it to the Tonys." Like, how crazy. Who would have thought? Like, I know, like, Marla and them, like, yeah, it was a dream, but, like, we actually did it, you know? I can't imagine writing the show and then being like, "Yeah, now we're in the biggest theater, like, award ceremony in the world." Crazy.
And I feel like it's one of those shows that has a legacy, that has such a built-in fandom that it's just gonna keep on going on and on and on, you know?
My gosh, I want them to do it on a cruise ship. I know they probably won't,
Yes.
but I'm like, how fun would
How it
that
would be
be?
perfect. I feel like it's a perfect fit.
Like, put it on a Virgin Voyage cruise, you know? It'd be
Yes.
perfect. Maybe not a kids cruise, not a Disney cruise, like, but something with adults, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and just being at sea and just leaning into that more, it's the best.
Unreal. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, with all that chaos, I'm also thinking of just your career and dreams in general and like looking ahead between performing, teaching, being a mom, and everything on your plate. What are you most excited to explore next in your career? What would something you would love to do that you haven't done yet?
Something I would love to do. There's so many things. Whenever I get asked this question, I, like, say something that I wanna do in, like, 40 years. I think I wanna do new work. I think my dream is to, like, create something from the ground up. Like, seeing Titanique be created in such a way and joining halfway through, I'm like, I wanna create a role that, like, people are like, "Sarah Gallo created this role," and, like, this is her being within a character. I don't know, like, on TV or whatever, or theater, but I think creating something would be very, very cool. But also, like, I wanna play Miss Hannigan. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
the dream. It's the dream. There's lots of different things, but I think something that'd be very fulfilling would be to create something from the ground up.
Well, what's incredible about that is, I keep getting advice from others about having different passions and different things to fill your cup. And so I feel like between performing and teaching and then wanting to create your own stuff, but also having these dreams of certain roles that you want to get to when you're older, like it's also important to have all of that and know that you
Yes.
can do all of it.
Yeah, yeah, I think the best advice I've gotten and I've heard from other people is, like, have a life outside of theater because that's what fulfills you the most, and then everything else is just like a cherry on top. So it's like, yes, I have all these dreams, but also, like, I might go to Hong Kong for 5 weeks in the fall with my husband for, like, his work. You know what I mean? And, like, I'm really excited about that because I get to, like, grow as a person and take my child to China. You know, it's like I feel like that influences my work, but influences, like, who I am as a person, you know? So I think that's equally, if not more important than, like, my performing goals. Yeah.
Absolutely. And they affect each other, and I think
Yes.
within that you find spaces. I mentioned community earlier, but both within theater and outside of it. And so
Yeah.
for you, what has that experience been like and finding the importance of that community?
I mean, it's so important. I'm still I have a lot of really good friends in theater, like, some of my best friends, but I'm still best friends with my 3 middle school girlies. Like, we text every day, they're coming to see the show soon, and, like, I feel like having a real life outside of this I feel like musical theater and, like, the theater world, especially, like, younger kids, I felt this, like, I felt like, "This is my life, this is my life." It's like, "No, no, no. Have your life, and this is just a subcategory." So I think it's so important, like, I fill my cup as, like, me going home to Philadelphia where my parents are and, like, sitting by the pool and, like, talking to my parents till, like, 1 AM. You know what I mean? Like, I need to be a person or I can't do this. So it's so important to me, but also, like, some of my best friends are in theater too, but we all talk about that. We're like, "Let's go to the mountains. Let's get out of here." Because how can we do this crazy, emotionally straining job where they ask all of you if you don't have anything to give? You know, I feel like a lot of people get burnt out, and I think getting just, like, real life experience and things is it. Like it's what makes art art, you know?
And I feel like it just improves what you're creating, what you're being part of, your performance. You're connecting with other people on a different level, and I just imagine, like, living life and having experiences is what makes you just a better person in general, and it's super important.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Cause it makes this is very important and like but knowing I get to go home to like two like beautiful people and a dog who's mentally ill, but like who I love, like and like having things to look forward to outside of theater is so important because yeah, you can't just have one. You have to figure out how to make your whole life whole, you know?
Yeah, and I keep finding that that's where the magic lies for so many people, but really just for everyone. I mean, I hear it
Period.
from over and over again, and how important it is and how it's not talked about enough. You know, I
Yeah.
feel like some people, like you said, feel like, "Oh, I need to focus on just this," and, I think they either forget to live or connect with the people that may ground them and help them through those harder moments. And also, I feel like brings you back to yourself. I think knowing yourself is such a big part of that. I feel like you knew yourself from a young age of this is who I am. This is what I want to do. It's part of me, and you embrace like different aspects of it, and still do. And
Yeah.
I think that's really important.
Yeah, totally. I mean, thinking about the choice to having a baby in this business is like very hard. Like Casey Beatty's been talking about it a lot since winning the Tony. But for me, there was no question. I was like, I can't pause my life for a possible job. You know what I mean? Like I need to have I want to have a child now and continue my career. You know what I mean? I can't pause I can pause my career and have a baby and go back, but I can't wait. You know what I mean? To like to make my like real life goals happen. It's hard and I know a lot of women and families struggle with it within the business. And I'm very lucky that it's been working out so far.
Well, I think
Yeah.
it also is a testament to, like, meeting the right people that you end up working with and are a good
Yeah.
support system because it's clearly possible.
Yes.
If it was ever a situation where it was not, it was the people around those people not making it possible when it clearly can be.
It when it clearly can be, yeah, I mean, I was so nervous coming back and, like, how lucky that it's a show that I've done before, so, like, coming back to a family that I know and then just welcoming me so openly, it was, like, overwhelming at times. I'm like, "Oh, like, I can bring my three-month-old baby to tech? Okay, cool." She only went to 1 day, but, like, still, like, have being able to do that and make it work, like, yeah, if they wanna make it work and they want you, like, it will work for sure. Yeah.
And that brings me to my last 2 questions, which is where do you find magic in the world, and how do you hope to create magic for others?
Where do I find magic in the world? I don't know, I feel like I find magic in the small things. Like, I love sunsets. My husband thinks I'm crazy because every sunset, I'm like, "Look at that one. Look at that." Like, just the little moments of, like, my dog looking at my baby, you know what I mean? And, like, them connecting with each other or a song playing at a time, like, that connects with what I'm feeling, and I'm like, "Yes." Like, really it's the really small moments that, like I make it like a little movie in my mind, I guess, that makes everything feel magical and, like, makes life worth living. I don't know. Like eating a cookie I had a donut earlier, and I was like, "This is the best donut. I need this right now," and it just brought me so much magic and joy. Yeah.
It's so funny because I think the same way, and I feel like it's just I romanticize life sometimes, but
Yeah.
in the positive way. Like, it keeps
Yeah.
me going, and I feel like it's so important to find magic.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And then for you, how do you hope to create magic for others?
I hope to create magic for others within my authenticity. I've I really like myself. Not to be like, I like myself, but I've learned that being me is the most successful version of myself, and I feel like reaches people in the way that it should and not trying to, like, put on anything. So I feel like if I just present myself within my work or within the world, like, that's how, like, I can, positively influence people because 'cause I'm like, I'm just myself and, like, this is what I have to offer, and I'm not trying to be anything more or anything less than that, especially, like, in my teaching and in my performance too. I feel like you have to be yourself, and and that's where the magic lies, you know?
Well, as someone who has had to learn that lesson myself in the past couple of years, I know how important that lesson is. And
Yes.
I can definitely say you are very successful in creating that magic. And I want to
Thank you
thank
so
you
much.
for sharing your magic with others. You are a magic maker, Sarah.
Oh, thank you so much. You're a magic maker. This is
Thank
so
you.
lovely.
Well, as we wrap up, I always ask my guests to say their name and tell everyone out there listening to go out there and do some magic.
My name is Sarah Gallo, and I want you to go out there and do some magic.
You heard her, everybody. Till next time.